Welcome to the future of money. Come with us on this journey into the world of Bitcoin, blockchain and crypto projects. You're going to meet the trailblazers. These people have changed my life and they may very well do the same for you. Hey everybody, I'm here with Andrea from Futura. I think you'll find this content very interesting if you're interested in starting your own business, raising capital for that, social impact funds. I'll talk a little bit about my trials and tribulations in the space and hopefully get a bit of great advice from Andrea. So Andrea, maybe to start off, if you could tell us a wee bit about yourself and what you're doing.
Thanks for having me here today, Sean, and hi everybody. Well, I've been working with social impact projects for the past 2 years, despite being my passion for like over 12 years. And then I started this journey as an entrepreneur to try to develop impact project, connect with people, amazing change makers like you and like other change makers that we have met. And yeah, and the topic of today is fundraising, I guess, which is
the $1 million question, shall we say?
Oh man, it's such a pain. Can we say pain on camera?
Yeah, you can say whatever you like on camera. So I guess that's a good starting point. I think really maybe the first question is, how difficult is it to raise funds for startups these days?
Well,
I mean, when I say these days, maybe if you give us some background and your experience in fundraising.
Yeah.
And is there a difference between your previous endeavors and a social impact?
Definitely. When I started, I was in finance, trading, pure speculation, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And raising capital there is actually very easy.
Right.
Such that you have people asking you, like, can I invest? Can I give you money? And you have to decide to say, do I like this person, or is it the right investor or not?
Okay.
While when it comes to social impact, it's far the opposite. Because most of the investors, of course, they want short-term returns, possibly in liquid asset classes. For non-experienced people means investments that can be transformed back into cash relatively fast. And that could be stocks, it could be currencies, it could be even cryptocurrencies sometimes if it's liquid. But when it comes to private equity or startups, usually this cycle is between 5 years to 8 years to get your capitals back in cash, liquid. So for many investors, this is a barrier. And also talking about values, most of the people, they are not really interested in investing in social impact. Unfortunately, my personal experience, so I don't want to talk for the entire world, but I don't think I've ever met an investor that said, I don't care about returns, I care about positive impact. I want to improve society. The other way around, when they invest and support businesses that they are in short and quick bucks, most of the time those businesses are taking something from society or creating some problem, or you are investing in markets that might be a bit dirty. And when you are an investor, you are in a position where either you are part of the solution or you are part of the problem. It's really hard to be neutral when you invest, when it comes to impact.
So you've obviously had a lot of experience in raising capital. What would you say to somebody starting a new business? What are the options available? I mean, for me personally, I've been an entrepreneur now for 25 years. In many ways, I sort of was forced into that position because I couldn't find a job when I came out of university, so I started my own business. I was lucky. It was the dot-com boom, and I grew a business very quickly at a young age, up to over 100 people working for me. I didn't need to raise capital; it just grew organically. So I've not really experienced. I don't have experience in actually raising capital. What are the options to somebody starting a business right now?
Well, the beauty of the internet is that today you have so many options. You have more options than what you can possibly explore, because there are tens of thousands of incubators, accelerator, VC. So yeah, nowadays you have so many possibilities, opportunities, more than the time that you have to explore it.
Yeah.
My suggestion would be similar to what you have done actually, being able to generate revenues in a way, because despite having many possibilities out there, fundraising is almost a job itself.
Yeah.
You need to come up with formulas, with deck, with financial numbers, and it's very complex for an entrepreneur that doesn't have that knowledge. You almost have to become a VC person to be able to raise, and it's a process that on average takes between 6 months to 12 months.
Don't tell me that, because I'm only in a couple of months trying to raise funds for my current
But
business.
statistically, unfortunately, you can go lower than that with the angels, where the average is 3 months to close a deal.
Okay.
Or accelerator, where depending on the accelerator is less than 6 months. Mm-hmm. But still, it's a lot.
Tell us a bit more about that. So, okay, let's take a current business I have, my hard forking website. It's been a passion project. I love the whole Bitcoin space. I've invested a lot of time and money. It's now, the numbers are starting to grow. People come to the website, to the YouTube channel. What would you say my options are? I mean, obviously, I've watched all these ICOs. Oh, here we go. Here's a VC now with $1 million for me.
They're talking about
a deal. So, yeah, coming back to that, what do you think for a guy like myself? I've started a website. I now need to raise some capital to really turn it into a proper business.
Well, I mean, you already have something tangible that is going. You have numbers, you have views, you have a product, which most of the startups don't have when they start. So you're far more advanced.
Well, let's go back a step then. So if someone's watching this and they've got an idea, what's the first port of call in your opinion?
The first step that I will do is being sure that the idea is the right idea. So going out there, testing out with possible clients. And this is something that very few companies, even large corporations, do. They first release a product and then they test it after with the community
live.
I've
been there before.
Yeah. I mean, we all do.
Not the best way to do
we all do these mistakes. Probably the best is have an idea, put it on a piece of paper, share that piece of paper with your end users, and see what they tell you. They might say, "Wow, this is an amazing product. I will buy," or "I don't need this."
Yeah.
So first is a proof of concept. Verify that is the right thing to do. The second one is to identify team members who can join you, because execution is the most critical part. It's even harder than fundraising. I know many companies that have raised 20 million, 30 millions, and as of today, they haven't delivered a single product because they can't execute.
Right.
So yeah, forming a team, being sure that the idea is right, and starting very small. Create an MVP, something that you can sell.
What's an MVP?
As a minimum viable product.
Right.
The smallest and cheapest thing that you can do that resemble your idea and product or service that you can sell to generate revenues.
So if you've got a great idea and you're starting a website, your MVP would be the thing that you would say would be the main revenue generator.
Yeah, well, for example, in the 70s, when the telecommunication were trying to identify smartphones in a market as a concept and so on, their MVP was a piece of wood, and that piece of wood had a fake screen on it, so it was completely not working and functional, and they started to pass it to people and say to them, this is going to be the telephone, it's going to be completely portable, how much would you pay for it?
Right.
Is the size all right? Do you want it smaller? And so they were having a smaller piece of wood with something, so you can go very extreme.
You establish your MVP, then once you're fairly confident, okay, I think I have a business here. What are the options? I mean, there's crowdfunding, there's ICOs these days. What do you think's the best route for a new entrepreneur?
One thing that they could have done with the phone, I don't know if they did, is to make people sign up, saying, okay, will you pay for these $1,000? Then here you can pre-sign up at $500.
Right.
And we are going to ship it to you at cost.
Mm-hmm.
So they could have started generating revenues and numbers with that. Today you have many crowdfunding platform, but they are very deceiving because there are thousands of projects on those platforms, and those that they get fundraising are actually very few, and they are super well prepared.
What sort of platforms are you talking about?
If you have products, you might have Indiegogo or Kickstarter. That they don't work for shares,
right.
only if you have products. But if you see one of those campaigns, they invest an average of $100,000 into those campaigns. Those videos are amazing. They have press release, they have Forbes, they have TechCrunch, and so on. It's super expensive. And then they raise millions, but it's not that easy. You have many other platforms for shares, but you are back at square one. To be able to go to those platforms, you need the business plan, the financial plan, the revenue model, the pitch deck, the investment deck. And if you don't know how to do it, it's very hard. So yeah, you have fundraising, crowdfunding platforms. The requirements are pretty stringent.
Does it typically cost you money to put your project there, or how do they typically
They
work?
say they don't, but then when you go deeper, you see that actually they charge you in different ways. They charge you legal fee to set up companies that are compliant with their own platform. Because most of these platforms are set up in UK or in US, and therefore you need to open a company in their country.
Right.
And they will offer you lawyers. Well,
so just to clarify, crowdfunding, my understanding of crowdfunding was back, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, where somebody would give you some money and you would give them a T-shirt or a hat, or is that what a crowdfunding platform is?
Yes. At the time it was. Now maybe
basically an ICO replaced this?
Well, an ICO is certainly a way to raise capital. It's a crowdfunding.
What are your thoughts on ICOs? Obviously, my media brand Hard Forking has been completely in that space, but I've never actually promoted any of these ICOs, specifically because the legal backlash has now begun. A lot of these people are in a lot of trouble. I'm amazed. Well, I think a lot of the media brands in the space possibly getting a knock on the door as well soon. But your thoughts? I mean, I have some sympathy for especially a lot of these young entrepreneurs who may find themselves in a bit of trouble in the future because of their effectively crowdfunding efforts not being compliant with various regulators. But how do you see that space? What's happened, and does it have a future?
Well, I mean, regulators they really put the best efforts that they could to limit and stop it. Some people will say they are trying to regulate it for safety. No, not in my opinion, because the thing is that today, to have access to something similar to an IPO, because ICO means initial coin offering.
Kind of the same thing, but it's not regulated.
Exactly. But launching an IPO, it will cost you $5 million, $10 million. That's a lot of money that goes into banks, that goes into regulators. And suddenly you create a mechanism where people can do it without almost any cost, because creating a token is very relatively easy.
So for a new entrepreneur coming in, watching this and just coming into this space, is an ICO still a legitimate option?
No way, for different reasons. One is that because the marketing costs for an ICO are just crazy. You're talking about $200,000 to $500,000 to launch a proper ICO.
Right.
You need to have the listing in the exchanges. You need to have the safety, like cybersecurity. People will try to hack in your website, in your wallets, and so on. Marketing and PR. You need road shows. Is very cost intensive.
I've been around this industry for a few years.
You know the cost. It's.
There's going to be people watching this. They've got a great idea, but they don't have finance. What, in your experience, what's the first thing they should do? Fundraising wise.
For fundraising.
Yeah.
Well, I would say to them, if they can avoid fundraising on the first step, it will actually be better in terms of focus, because they could focus on revenues, on creating a small MVP, generate revenues first, and when they have revenues, then it's so much easier and faster to raise capital. It's a whole different game.
Right. What sort of level would an investor need to see? You know, okay, you say you're confident, you really think you've got something. Where do you need to be to actually then go out and raise capital?
Well, certainly you need to have clients, and clients that are sticking with you for a while.
Yeah.
So not just I've sold 10 products once.
Yeah.
You need to sell 2 products a month for 2 or 3 months, and then you show that you're selling 5, and then you're selling 10.
Yeah.
And that will show what they define with the traction.
So a lot of people know shows like Dragon's Den or the Shark Tank. Are they? Is that overly? You know the shows I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Is that how it works? Is that a realistic portrayal of sort of going and pitching a VC?
Well, I mean, pitching to a VC is actually very challenging, and is extremely. The success rate is very low.
Yeah.
First of all, you're going to approach VCs out of 100 that you contact by email or message, maybe 50 will answer you back if you're lucky. So it's very hard already to get there. Then when you sit in the meeting, they have tens of projects going to them every week. You really need to be one of the best under their criteria. Yeah. Which personally I don't like, because their criteria doesn't necessarily mean that those projects are good, or they are good for society, which is even worse. So VCs and investors, they become kind of the natural selection for projects, but they only keep alive projects that are speculative, that they can make quick bucks fast.
Okay.
And actually, if you're a good project with good intention, that you're delivering a service that makes people happier at a very fair price, you would be discarded.
Something that's sort of confusing me as I'm coming into looking to raise capital. There's some new terms that are being thrown around that maybe weren't there when I've started my first businesses. Accelerator, incubator, what VC, those 3 things, how do they interrelate? How are they different?
Now the difference between incubator and VC for some people might be more clear. Usually incubators are in the early stage and VC comes later.
Right.
But between accelerator and incubator, the difference is very subtle. Many people interchange it, but they're actually different. If I'm not wrong, the definition is that incubator, they come at an early stage, sometimes idea only, and they give you a quick bucks to build an idea with the support of mentors and other few things here and there. While accelerator comes when you are already selling something, you already have a product, and you need to accelerate and expand.
Right.
So
typically an incubator, is it typically debt or equity? Are they lending you money, or are they taking a position in your company?
It depends. There are 4 different models, and there are more models of incubators. Those that are supported by governments, they take a small stake in your company. Then there are other incubators that don't take equities at all, so it's just a grant from the government and they help distributing. And there are those that they give you a debt, a kind of loan thing. So there are different models.
Okay.
On an average, we're talking about between $50,000 to $150,000 investment in it.
Okay. And what stage of building a business would you feel somebody would need to be at to raise $150,000? What would an incubator or an accelerator expect to see from you for that type of investment? And what would they be looking for in return for that type of amount, do you think, typically? I know it's a very general question, but...
Unfortunately, it depends also on who you are. If you come up from an amazing university, you have the CV, or you have some track record, then you can go there with idea only.
Right.
Or if you have an amazing team, 3-4 people from some tech or ex-government, and probably you wouldn't need an incubator. Or otherwise, the more you have, the better, the higher chances that you get into that. Usually the valuation that they give you, at least in this part of the world, in Asia, is about $1 million. So if they will give you 150K, they will take 15% stake of your company.
Right.
But the average is between 5% to 10% on what you give to an incubator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to begin.
I was expecting a lot more.
No. For any investor, would be counterproductive to take more than that in early stage, because the entrepreneur might lose interest in the company. If they end up having a Series A with a VC, and
so a Series A is a first round of funding.
Well, you have a pre-seed, seed, then you can have a bridge round, then you have a Series A when you already have traction. We are talking in millions. Then Series B, Series C, and then IPO. If you reach a Series A, mid, Series B with more than 50% shares given to someone else, you will unlikely raise any more capitals after that.
Right. So we've established in the financial world, it can be fairly easy with people actually coming to see you, as you've experienced. Tell us a wee bit about. Obviously, I've been following you around for about 6 months now. Amazing what you're doing here.
Nice journey, challenging.
I see you talking to some real heavyweight VCs. Is that where you're at now? Are they VCs or?
Also, we are seeing somehow two different worlds here, because on one side you have the institutional investors, the old money with an obsolete system that is inefficient. We have been talking about months to raise capital, in some cases years. In business that are popping up in new markets and trend, you really need to be fast to be able to develop further. And on the other side, if you are in social impact, if there is a problem today, you need to solve it tomorrow, not 1 year down the road. And because the problems, they might degenerate, they become bigger, they might bring other problems together. So time to action is crucial.
So how does it work with social impact? I mean, I've seen some figures. There's a lot of venture capital coming into the space, but what does that actually mean? Obviously, somebody investing in something, they're wanting to see a return. I mean, obviously, you look at something like Philanthropy, where people are just a very wealthy individual. They want the world to be a better place. How are these different? How
can you balance it?
Well, yeah. So a philanthropist is not necessarily looking for a return. Would that be fair to say?
In theory.
In theory.
In theory.
Not in practice.
In practice, so far I haven't met investors that said, "Here is a check, go and make the world a better place."
Right. Yeah.
Considering also that many people don't know about when you do philanthropies and so on, you get tax benefit.
Yeah.
So many
Unfortunately, in my experience, most people are not willing to do anything without something in return. How is your experience going with raising capital for what you're doing?
I've seen that the most generous people in terms of capitals and time are actually those people that are not wealthy.
Really?
Normal people with average jobs that they say, this is little that I have, and I'm glad to utilize it for good. And even their time, we have met amazing people spending nights after work, everyone tired, still developing projects. We have done amazing workshops together. Fortunately, philanthropists or high net worth individual has not been as generous with impact projects. And same with VC, because most of them, they can't. Their mandate is to make money. They have to make money. And if they don't, they will lose a job. They will lose whatever they have built in years. So for them, return is primary. Impact in some cases is secondary, but is often overlooked.
So for Futura, where would you say you're at right now? I mean, obviously we discussed, you know, a startup often having to sort of have the, you know, the track record to take to a VC. What are the challenges you're facing now? What's going well? Where is it at?
We are building in parallel. We are experimenting. We are trying different ways of raising capitals, and on the other side, generate revenues.
Yeah.
So, as you might have seen, we are developing projects from scratch. Some of them will go to market soon on their own, with all the members putting time and capitals together.
Yep.
Other things that we are testing is crowd investing and crowdfunding. How can we empower millions of people to be able to give a little bit of support, and with that support creating amazing projects for return on society. And one of the things that I think can make the difference is that all our companies and projects are fully distributed among the community. There is no a large shareholders and people working for him, but every single company member, or if you want to call it employee, is a shareholder. So everyone has a piece of it.
Okay.
And we think that we can do this with millions of people. So
okay. So it's not just a big venture capital firm that you're looking for here. It could also just be an individual.
Yeah,
that can come
absolutely. That would be even better. I mean, it would be so much better to have 1 million individuals putting $100 each.
Wow. Okay.
Because then you're really building a community. You're making poorer people richer rather than rich people richer.
So you're here in Singapore at the moment. Obviously, I know you move around quite a bit. Are you able to raise capital? How does that work? Do you need to be in a certain location for what you're looking to do, or and how could other people get involved? I mean, if somebody's watching this in America, could they contact you and get involved somehow?
Yeah, absolutely. Any help would be, any support would be absolutely glad.
So how would somebody sort of engage remotely with what you're looking to do at the moment?
They can just contact us and say, hey guys, we want to launch a project, we want to develop a project, we want to invest into a project. We'll find ways. Your location makes absolutely difference a lot. As you know, here we travel a lot. We go often to Vietnam, to Malaysia, to Indonesia, to other countries where operations it's easier and cheaper. But to raise capital, you need to be in places where investors feel trust, safety. Singapore has built an amazing reputation for that in terms of safety, transparency.
I think everybody I seem to talk to here is either a venture capitalist or somebody on their way to see you.
Yeah.
It's quite incredible.
Yeah, there are billions of dollars flowing through Singapore. Is it easier to get that funds? No, not at all. Here what we're trying to do, what we're doing is a bit experimental. So for many VCs or investors, it's not easy to even understand what we're doing, because we're talking about distributed companies. We're talking about having millions of people as shareholders. So we are shifting somehow from a pyramid where you have the users at the base, the employees below, C-level here, and few shareholders on top. We are trying to revert the pyramid where actually the users and the employees are the largest shareholders.
Right. Okay, so when you're actually talking to a venture capital firm, you're explaining this whole paradigm shift.
Yes. This is not easy, because they say, but in this way we lose control and so on. But on the other side, what we are seeing is that the younger generation is demanding for new jobs, for new opportunities, for even belong. I don't want to spend my life working 40 years for a company that then will just fire me as soon as I'm useless for them. They want to...
Or being a little robot creating content for a Facebook or well, I can't really mention these names because your content gets banned, but So yes, I understand somewhat of the paradigm shift that you're looking to do here. I mean, conveying that to a VC, I imagine somewhat of a challenge.
Absolutely challenging. But on the other side, I think that, and with other members, we think that we shouldn't compromise on that, because this is really part of the future. And we see that these type of companies are failing more and more to deliver happiness, quality of life for people. I mean, of course, economies somewhere are growing, but happiness is certainly not growing. Engagement to societies. So, I mean, this is a bit philosophical, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're going into interesting times as well. We've obviously got a, what do they call it, an inverted yield curve in the bond market now, which has been a finance guy. You know only too well what that potentially means for us all in the coming year, 2 years at best, I would imagine. I think there's so much content here that you know, you can impart some advice to entrepreneurs. Obviously, we want to find out how these discussions with VCs are going. I know that's all happening right now. So, could we get back together in a couple of days?
Yeah, absolutely. I think
have more of a chat on this.
Yeah, and I think if we can, we should have.
Times.
Yeah, and if we can, we should have maybe someone from a VC.
Yes.
In our conversation to see what is their opinion, what they would say to us live when we propose certain things. Could be interesting for everyone.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic, actually. I mean, if you are a VC in Singapore, please get in touch. Also, if you're an entrepreneur, if you've got a great idea, you want some more advice about raising capital, please put it in a comment or get directly in touch with yourself. We can put the website underneath here.
Absolutely. Or if you want to support projects, if you are a company that wants to move into social impact, you suddenly decide that you want to do good for society, get in touch with us and we'll see what we can do to support that.
Look, I'm in town for another week or so. I'd love to sit down with you maybe every couple of days and put some content out about where things are at.
Sounds great.
Yeah, so let's do it. So yeah, we'll check back with us. Please subscribe to this channel and also to
Futura.
We'll be back certainly within 48 hours.
See you
again.
See you in the next video.
Thanks very much.
Thanks to you, Sean.
Cheers.
Nice.
See you soon.
Bye.